too much. We can retroactively do a lot.
Alright, yeah. Well, finally, after 2 weeks, we're back with what I'm now going to call the Broken Empire. You guys have sufficiently changed the world to rename an entire continent, basically. So we're going to start, basically, with session 1 of the Broken Empire. And here, we see what happens to our protagonists, our players, after the demise of the God King. So currently...
I'll say protagonist is a very loose term.
Yeah, you are kind of the centre of the story, so a little bit of a catch-up. Yeah. The group had their climactic battle with the God King, where Xerxel made the ultimate sacrifice in binding the God King to this plane, and allowing, in that sacrifice, the group, the party, to burst in and able to finish the job. After Xerxel put up a good fight, but ultimately was killed. In a resurrection attempt, Xerxel, who had achieved his goals in life of revenge, denied said resurrection and decided to stay in the afterlife. Following this, the party loots the God King and his lair, finding many a magical item, including a pair of fantastic, powerful robes the God King was seen fighting in, a mask holding magical power, a wand, and I believe you guys would divvy up the loot amongst yourselves. But after ascending out of this tower and making your way back into the city of New Chester, what would you guys do straight away? You know that you've killed the God King. Did you bring his corpse with him? Did you do anything like that?
Well, from the nurse's point of view, he would try and make sure that depending on what he feels the diplomatic situation is, whether or not publicly showing the God King being dead would help.
Remember the Admiral Kane, Mr. Chambers, as you knew him, wanted evidence of, or wanted the God King dead so that the city could move on, because as long as the God King was out there in limbo, its citizens were always going to be in two minds whether to fall onto one knee or to continue fighting. Most of the Blood Knights retreated with the Blood General because they were never sure whether the God King would return, and if they had turned against him, whether they would be punished for it.
Yeah,
he's well known as a very powerful figure, almost omniscient in his empire. So the fear would be prevalent in his people.
Yeah, I think Macro would be pretty adamant about showing the movers and shakers. So I guess the Admiral would be one of them.
Okay, so would you like me to then just read out what I had written down for what happens in the aftermath, and then we'll continue with some downtime? Okay, so in the aftermath of the God King's death, the city is given new life. News of his demise and how it occurred spread swiftly to the ears of Neria, and soon, as stories are like to do, they blow out of proportion. In Shydell, where the scattered bones of old properties lay in the sand, the people there now speak in awe of the Sheriff of Shydell. Makrar's fame among the common folk is at its exalted levels, and his respect of his name now carries and lays heavy on the nobility and the Blood Knights abound, their honour now brought into question. The Ironblood family, however, returns to the city, and with it, the city is given a new name over council. Grildar vehemently argues that the city should not be called New Chester. And eventually, the vote passes after 5 days, despite Chester's efforts.
Yeah, he's fucking hiring every lawyer in the state.
The city is given a new name as the New Nerian State, short for just New Neria. And the New Nerian Council is formed, and Neros is offered the title of Planar Ambassador. Does he accept this?
He will.
Okay, which is good. However, and eventually, Salim Bakin, the one you had spoken to in the Spices Tower, finally comes out of his guild, and you he befriends you, becomes quite like a contact that you can speak to about goes on in the city. Now that God King's dead, he doesn't seem to be bothered about the loyalty to a foreigner or and outside influence. The members of the new ruling council, for anyone that wants to know, are Grildar Ironblood, Hedrel Morningstar, Admiral Kane Chambers, Chiun Japu, Ipwe Skakfo of the Skakfo House, Sharp Rose, Kazmok Tourette, Salim Bakin, and Zaron, head of the Commoners, and including you, Leniros, Planar Ambassador. However, news quickly spreads to the south that in the north, the Broken Empire, they're now calling themselves, have formed their own council to rule the northern part of the island. That is Otwa and Enway, the elvish twins and mothers of Manarch, the Blood Emperor Hakad Al-Fadil, the God King's son, Nadina Grave Warden, the 14-year-old daughter of Lord Grave Warden, and if you remember, most of you killed her father and a brother.
Yeah, this
Lady-
is a recipe for nonsense, isn't it?
In quite gruesome ways, both of them, really.
Yeah.
Lady Greenridge, now dubbed the new Methuselah.
No.
Oh, fuck that bitch.
Lord Camus Ket, an ancient elf who has ruled Ket for some 500 years. The Undying Lady of Rokul, a lich who stands open in the sunlight and is not looked down upon. She is the Queen of Rokul. The Consort of Thoth, the Prime of Light, who rules at Poif's Lighthouse. They are the members of the Broken Empire who have stuck to the ways and have sworn loyalty to the Blood Emperor.
Never before have I heard such a pack of turds in my entire life.
Yeah, the north has just become the evil council.
Yeah, we don't go to that shadowy place.
Yep.
Oh, we will. We'll conquer them soon enough. Wait till they wind us up, even to give us even the slightest provocation.
Yeah, all we've got to do is look in our direction and we'll fuck them up, and their city will be called Chester in no time.
Alright, and carrying on, Chester's manse is returned to him, and fully furnished as well because of the deeds that you have done. And because the city was stripped of its new Chester name, the square where the executions once took place are now dubbed the Point of Courage, and the finished statue of Chester now guards the square, his glorious visage bathing everyone in its glory across the marketplace.
Fuck you, Grilda.
What pose is Chester doing, Todd? Please explain to us how he's posing in his statue.
It would be Quill Aloft, sadly. It wouldn't be anything. Oh, and probably like a little finger to his mouth, as if he got a naughty little secret.
Nice. Okay, and however, Elzef, your workshop is expanded, and what you did for the city doesn't go amiss. And your new fame gives you many new contacts in the city's reborn guilds. Wealth of creation is now at your disposal. You seem to open many doors wherever you go. Everyone seems to recognise you. You are also given free passage between Longinia and New Neria whenever you want. However...
Did I get my workshop there?
Yes, you did.
Ah, yes.
Yep. It's in the docks district overlooking the wharfs, but we'll get to that at a later date, so if you ever do go to Longinia. However, Xerxil's funeral is a simple affair. His cremation is performed in the swamp he called home, and a pair of toxic statues overlook the pot pyre, where 4 guards lay around shriveled, their skin tight against their bones. Anna here gives a speech, talking much on how she hadn't known Xerxil for long, and despite his vicious lizardfolk ways, she had grown attached to him, and how she wishes her friend the best of luck in the afterworld, and that she is glad that he had achieved his goals. The Fate Weaver's head is laid to rest on top of his corpse, on top of what looks like pyre of mangrove trees that have been cut down special for the occasion. Nearby, totems are erected in bones and wood and stone. And does anyone else want to say anything at his funeral?
Elsef does say some things.
Yeah?
Elsef walks up and says, I would like to one last time formally request to be given the body to perform experiments on it. I have been firmly denied this honor. Unless you change your mind, I would like to say a few words. And then Elsef just begins reading her research paper on Xerxel's metabolism.
Oh my god. Alright, the moment you begin this, you see everyone's slightly interested. And then Anna kind of walks up and goes, "It's okay, Elsef. We all know you're upset," and kind of just shoves you off the dais.
I shall say a few words.
Alright, she goes, "Of course, Chester. I shall let you," and Anna steps off the stage.
Chester steps up and removes his plumed hat. He's wearing a lot of colours, very bright colours you wouldn't believe. He's stitched together like a multicoloured technical coat, full of happiness and joy. Ladies and gentlemen, as many of you know, sweet, sweet Xerxel had a special place in my heart. He will be remembered among most as the friend of Chester and the hero who took counsel and deep advice from the author himself. Please, among the coming months, take time to read my latest works, Xerxel and I, a fine novella that outlines the sweet, sweet lizard's life. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Anna says thank you as you are led off.
And he sets up like a little stool with like little first edition copies of Xerxel and I.
Xerxel had like some shitty friends.
after a couple of beers. Right, well, welcome. First of all, don't buy that shit. Absolute waste of money.
He's drunk.
He was a necessary evil. Definitely evil, though. Probably went around about the right time because he probably was going to destroy us all. But he was good at his job whilst he was here, and you need crack a few eggs to make an omelette. And what was I saying? Right. Down his drink and then walks off the stage.
Amazing.
That was actually really good. That was so fucking macro. It was unbelievable. Right, okay, and the funeral goes by with people mourning and celebrating. Even, like, I'm assuming Graldar would have turned up to show his respect, maybe. Yeah. And that's when money...
Speech, Graldar!
Sorry, what was that?
It would appear someone in the crowd said speech very loudly and quite obscurely, probably Macra.
Yes,
Probably in the corner of the room, on the corner of the swamp.
Well, it's always sad to see allies go, as it was a sad day for me when you departed and left me with no choice but to leave with my family.
As it was a sad day for all of us when you forced the title change of this here city.
Well, force is a strong word. Let's appreciate that we didn't try and call this the Ironblood Estate or New Grildoria, something like that.
Sounds like a sexually transmitted disease.
So it does, but that's not what we're here for today.
And
So let's leave that behind for another day, shall we, Chester?
Of course, a friend's passing from this world. Today is about Xerxel.
Yes, as you mentioned, sweet, sweet Xerxel has passed from this world, and it is a sad day to see him go. I did not expect him to be long for this world with his reckless behavior, but it's still sad to see him go. He was I would say he was a good friend, but that wasn't really it. But I shared some of his motivations and understood his goals very well, and I'm very happy that he achieved them. I think it will be better for all of us in the long run.
Macro started to drunk jeer him and like hackling. He's like, "Yeah, shared motivation." Woo!
okay, right. And soon after, you will meet a particular character that seems to be a relative of Gwandia. Gwandia had turned up to the funeral with Grildar, because this is around the time that you would be exchanging the money that Grildar owes you for the Tomb of Mistra. And Rocket, would you like to introduce Orwin and explain what he looks like?
I can give it a go.
Yep.
As always, it's easy just to rock the token. He basically looks like a Backstreet Boy. Can you enlarge said token, please, Liam?
Yeah, I will. It's there he is.
Oh my gosh, he does. He wants it his way, doesn't he?
There's someone finally prettier than Chester in the party.
Yeah, that's Alwyn. He is Gwandia's adopted son.
Ah, that says a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And also, what you do notice is the peculiar, like those of you that are quite perceptive would notice that Owen's eyes are like kind of vividly blue, like almost to the point when they slightly glow. Like the most perceptive of you would notice that, and very similar to the way that Gwandia's sparkle when he's attempting a barter or a deal or doing anything slightly magical that you noticed before, but Alwyn's seems to have that slight like sparkle in his eye too. Here is the first time that you meet Alwyn, and in the following weeks, you would come across him quite a lot. One would say that some of you, especially Lineros, probably would get on quite well with him, being of both of you are of magical aptitude. However, I'm going to go on to now and ask you what you wanted to do in your downtime. We'll start with Alwyn.
Start with me. I've only just fucking appeared. Jesus.
Yeah, but let's get the character that hasn't had much spotlight in the last 20 minutes to go on first.
Well, Alwyn probably spends a lot of time attempting to ingratiate himself with the members, as he refers to as Grildar's last adventuring party.
Okay, so which one would you go talk to first?
Obviously,
Laneros probably seems like a good candidate because there's
because it wasn't part of Bill's adventuring party.
Exactly, but it gives off a he knows you've been part of what's going on recently.
Yeah,
He senses your arcane talents.
Alright, so you approach the Planar Ambassador, probably somewhere in the Moonlit Shield.
You must be Laneros. We met, I think, back at the funeral.
Indeed. And
Is that face, Liam?
I don't have a different token for him, but previously when you met him up until the point of the funeral, he was like white-haired and quite distant, and he's changed a bit now. His hair has gone well, a bit more fiery, like somewhere between between Adrian with a wig on and
Highly
and your
attractive.
your background, sort of that sort of color, and he's much more. He seems more energetic, basically, and still diplomatic, but in a different way.
Mm. You gone and changed something about yourself there.
Yeah, seems so. Yeah.
Yeah, don't really remember, but you look a bit different.
Yes, we do that sometimes. Anyway, what's up?
Well, I just thought I'd come round and see how you're doing. I mean, I want to hear all your tales, really. I mean, all this talk of the God King, I mean, you're one of the people that put him down. It's bloody marvellous.
Yeah, that it was. Look, I'd love to talk to you about this at length, but then can we plan that at some point? I have a really busy day and
Yeah,
I need to get on.
Of course. Whatever you like. I'll meet you whenever.
All right. Well, and he pulls up like a ledger and it's like, okay, well, in 6 days I have about half an hour.
Christ, you are a busy boy. Yeah, if that's what it's to be, then it's to be.
Mm-hmm. All right,
Very
great. See you
tremendous.
then. And he just
All right.
hands off.
He just kind of dips his head and is like, oh, shuffles away.
Mm-hmm. It's
Okay.
okay.
Find that Chester bloke. He loves to talk.
Chester, where would you be when the newest member, Alwyn, finds you? You're muted.
It depends when. When's he coming to find me?
It'd be around the first week, wouldn't it, after the God King's demise?
Probably at my manse, using some of my newfound wealth to hire some workers who are probably delivering some fresh snow from somewhere about this time.
Okay.
Ah, welcome. You there.
That's good.
You're a face high. It's Aldwin, Amethyst, Arleve something, isn't it?
It's Ellerin, yeah.
Ah, close enough. Chester Decker, sir, at your service. Perhaps you've heard of me.
Well, yeah, you killed the fucking God King.
Ah, yes, single-handed, I'll have you know.
It's actually just starting to lose a bit of the sting now, because pretty reasonable everyone's heard him. Before it was funny when we were in the middle round, and he'd roll a cheap dead high charisma check, and we're like, oh, this random squirrel, definitely not right, okay. But at this point, I feel like it's just fairly reasonable.
Before, he was just a bum pretending to be famous, and now he is world famous.
He is thinking about changing the motto above his house from "Perhaps you've heard of me" to "Get down and lick the tip." Just because it's there.
Shouldn't the motto just change from "Perhaps you've heard of me" to "You've heard of me"?
Yeah.
Chester Decker, how about some fellatio?
Of course. It's complaining me now.
What does the Iron Man actor have in his Twitter profile? It just says, "You know who I am."
Yeah.
And I can't even remember his name.
So what is your deal? Your business?
Well, look, I'll level with you, right? You know, I work in Grandia's shop most of the time. Well, not the one here, but over in Longinia or, the United Realms, wherever he needs me. I pop around here and there. But it's fucking boring, I sit in a storeroom most of the time and I'm just transporting goods back and forth. And it fucking kills me to sit there wasting all my talents. Like, sometimes it's nice we go out and we raid a tomb or something, but most of the time I'm just sitting on my ass. It's fucking boring.
You want to see lofty adventure and
I've heard so many stories
lofty
about
adventure.
yes,
Well,
going, by the way, I think I've gone through about fucking 15 so far.
you've come to the right place, I'll tell you that to be sure. Perhaps you should.
You didn't like shop there.
Perhaps you should join us, as our crew seems to be ever shifting, ever changing. The cast of this here novel seems to be endless in its series. I have no idea as to where we're going next, but I would know where I am headed, and you are most welcome to join me.
Well, that's exactly what I was looking for, to be honest. Like, I just need something in my life. I've told Gwandia that I can't work the shop anymore. I've got to get out and do something with my life.
I tell you, good sir, in your travels across the world, have you ever heard of the enigmatic beings known as the souls?
I know a bit about the souls. Yeah.
Well, butter my bread and lick the tip. You're just the man I've been looking for. Particularly, namely two, I wish to know more about the storm and said fire, both of which I have a political entanglement with, let's say, tete-a-tete.
Well, I did some research before on it, but let me cast my mind back. Can I make a history or arcana or anything if I know anything about those particular souls?
Either or, they reveal different details. Arcana. So yeah, you've heard of the Storm Soul. The rumor was that the Storm Soul, like in magical circles, so from Gwandia's contacts as well as everyone else's, that there's a powerful storm brewing around a place called Storm's Rest Rock, to the west, and it's rumored that the Storm Soul is probably there because that storm is swirling around that island. Its properties that you know of give the ability a powerful, thunderous kind of note to their arcane magics.
Yeah.
How have we not ended up with just like 7 just like random bums that are following us? Because every time someone walks up to Chester, was like, Chester, let me follow you. It's like, of course you can.
Mm-hmm. Nope. But so Chester, you hear Owen regale that to you.
Excellent. Well, here's my proposition to you. You wish for adventure? You wish for a life of swashbuckling action and not in a dusty store cupboard?
Oh, yeah.
Good. Then I'm putting together a crew. If you meet a lady named Gwendeth, don't mention it because she'll get a lady boner. But I'm gonna set off on a little voyage to this here Storm's Rest Rock, and I would like to know if you'd like to accompany me. Of course, I shall be asking our other intrepid, god-slaying friends. Well, it's all in here, of course. Hands him a copy of How Chester Slain the God King. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
What's it?
If that's what you need, then of course.
Excellent.
Gets me out of here, and I mean, you know where to find me. You just come to the curio whenever you're ready.
It has been a pleasure, good sir. It has been a pleasure.
Yeah, pleasure's been all mine.
Adieu. As you can see, I'm currently in the middle of making a frosty counterpart.
As you're leaving, Orwin, like you left the Moonlit Shield about an hour and a half ago, and as you're leaving, you just see Laneros striding towards you. Even though he told you he was not free, you see him striding towards you.
Okay.
Poor little bitch.
Well, go ahead, Laneros.
Yeah, so it turns out I have some time after all. Should we go and get a drink?
Sure, it's a mite earlier than I thought you'd be, but I'm also free. Why not?
Mm-hmm. Alright, let's go.
He
All right.
follows wherever Laneros leads up to.
Laneros, CD or Noble Light for Tavern House?
Whatever's closest.
Whatever's closest. The Knife and Hound, where you... oh, no, you were never there. But, yeah, you head to the Knife and Hound, and neither was Allwyn, so I guess you don't recognise it. But it's gone through some new life, this building. And outside, you see there are some scaffolds and people repairing roofs. And you walk in, and immediately, I will have to quickly look up the handout, god damn it.
Sorry.
No, that's alright. I've just got so many things for this city, like... Under taverns, Knife and Hound, cool. Yeah, as you walk in, you see a Summer Eladrin. And his arms are folded, and as you walk in, he nods and says, "It's good to see someone of my kind." And he says, "It's red. The name's Redleaf."
You see the arrows like sigh slightly at that. Like, alright. Could we get a bottle of wine?
Yeah, he grabs a bottle of wine, shows you to your table, sits you down.
Mm-hmm. Right, well, before we talk, let's drink.
Alright, sure.
And he just, like, pours a cup, downs it, pours you a cup, pours himself another cup.
Less downing, but he'll have a good swig of it, and are you sure there's nothing you want to talk about first? You seem a bit troubled.
No, not troubled so much, just felt like a drink.
I can
It's been
see that.
Quite a bit going on lately, and, well,
Well, with everything you've been through, and what's your title now? Some kind of Kleiner ambassador?
that's it. It's, yeah, it's a bit much to adjust to, but all in all, it's good. But, yeah. Figured you wanted to talk, so let's get it out of the way. Let's talk. And he takes another another cup.
Well, if I'm interrupting you, then you don't have to worry about it so much. I had a good chat with Chester, and seems like he's got something for me, you know. Really, I was just trying to ingratiate myself with you, and I'm going Scottish with this. Stick to one accent. Love of God.
It's alright, you'll get used to it eventually.
Yeah, first day character, classic stuff.
When I was learning Irish for a role, I watched a lot of Liam Neeson. It was just subtle enough to be easy. I don't know who you are, and I don't know where you come from.
That's pretty good.
I want to tickle your tummy.
Exactly, that's it. I've got a particular set of skills.
But have you heard about what Chester's planning now?
Well, many things, as gestures want to do. Which one are you referring to?
It looks like he's trying to set up a party to go to Storm's Rock.
Right. Yes, I did hear about that. I reckon that in due time he'll come around and ask me as well. But, perhaps I should
suppose
ask
you
him.
would, you know. You were with him with the God King, so how could he not ask you?
Well, I mean, I see how it would feel that way, but sometimes you do things together because it seems opportune at the time. That doesn't mean that a lifelong bond forms immediately, but who knows?
Yeah, it makes sense to me. But anyway, I think I'll be going with him. So, really, I don't need to trouble you at all.
Alright, well in that case, he downs his drink and just gets up and walks away.
Thanks for the wine.
Mhm.
I'll see you around.
Yep, and he just walks out again.
Okay. Are you going to go find any of the other members, or are you done for them?
I think he's quite happy. He's just like, I'm out. I'm out of the basement. I'm done. That's all it took. It's done. He's happy.
Okay.
I feel like you've hitched your star to the wrong wagon.
Oh, massively, but that's how it's happened. So it shall be.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll jump to some downtimes then. So Elzef, what would you be doing with the next few months?
Okay, so Elsef has a bigger workshop and has a second workshop in Longinia now,
Yeah, which you can freely teleport between.
which he can freely teleport between. And both of those workshops, Elsef has not hired a single person.
Yeah.
Both of those workshops at the end of the downtime are filled with just doors. Arches, doors, doorways, gates, and giant tapestries with calculations on it.
Okay. Yeah.
She is obviously quite frustrated that her work on the first portal was not accepted and wasn't up to par.
I see. Yeah. So you're basically putting in a lot of research into what went wrong and how to fix it.
Yeah, because now she knows what's supposed to go through the portal, she feels like she can do a better job.
Okay. So you can make me an Arcana check.
This is all in between Macro incessantly nagging at her to finish his fucking weapon.
Yeah, at some point there's like an anvil, and on it is like a slab of metal that's just lying on it, and there's a sticker on it that says Macro's sword, work on it. It has not been touched.
All right, sounds good. All right, so it's very difficult for you to, during the first month, to actually see what went wrong. You keep going back to the Watcher and getting Otho's research notes and stuff like that and pulling them back. They're difficult to determine and discern, but once you do, you're starting to realise kind of where you went wrong, but then you backtrack, get the wrong calculation, there's an arcane explosion in Longinia, and then you go back to Mokhul, Nuneria, and things just seem to be going in circles for the first month. You're not really making any headway.
Was it possible to retrieve the original portal from the academy, or did she take it with her?
No, she did not take it with her. However, you speak to Salim Bakin about getting it, because seeing as he's now in charge in that part of the city's creation, he's trying to find basically who to assign as a new headmaster. A lot of people are trying to vote for Wiltix, but people think that Wiltix is way too crazy and would probably burn the place to the ground before the end of the day. But he says to you, look, I cannot do that for you because I do not currently have permission to start unlocking doors and giving away artifacts. I'm not in my position yet. Once I've assigned a headmistress or headmaster, it's only I can petition that for you, Elzef. I understand your anxiety and your stress in this subject, but I just cannot go unlocking random doors and giving random magical artifacts to people. I'm sorry.
He says, well, Elsa is obviously not stressed at all, just standing there. She just says, okay, and walks off. At the start of Downtown, Elsa would have just instructed people to take all of the books that were found in the God King's secondary space, what's it called? Demiplane.
Yeah, the one.
And just stack them somewhere in the basement of her workshop.
Yeah, that's fine. Oh, yeah, shit. Fuck, let me go to that map then, because you would have got. If you went down and got that stuff, I can tell you what I can actually genuinely tell you what you got, because I wrote it all down before Xerxes went mental.
Oh yes.
Okay, so if you ready?
Yep.
So a scroll of chain lightning,
Oh. Yes.
a scroll of polymorph,
That's a Chester thing, yeah.
one scroll of enhanced charisma.
Not an LSF thing.
No. 4 romantic poems with the Methuselah's name on the envelopes. I'll copy paste that.
That is really weird.
Yeah. A crate filled with alchemical supplies.
Oh yeah.
There you go. And on the bookshelves, you find these books.
Oh.
Bigger, better spells, you say?
Yeah. It's just it's literally just a like well, you don't know what it is actually before I go there.
If Laniros ever comes around to the workshop, it would just be lying somewhere on the floor next to a door, and he could just take it with him if he wants it.
Let me I'm still looking at the other things in there, see if there's anything else you find. Alright, yeah, and as you are, you know, the room with all the mimics, you carefully prise around that, you find a longsword embedded in one of the mimics, and being of the arcane nature, you quickly find out it's a +2 longsword.
Don't do it, it's mimic itself.
Elsef gives that to Makra when he asks about his sword.
You find that,
Oh.
and also a scroll of wish.
A scroll of... Yes.
Elsef, how did you get all the cobwebs on this already?
Also, 180 platinum pieces.
That's okay. So everyone except Xerxel can take down... what is that? How many people are we? 4? With Xerxel dead? So that's... Come on, Adrian. You can
Oh, shit. Also...
45 each.
Yeah, everyone gets 45 platinum, but as you go down to near the bottom levels, you find like a large amethyst that seems to be made... Well, it's like an amethyst, but as you get closer, you realise it's made of glass. It's got this glowing, kind of purplish, yellowish energy that mixes between it. As you approach it, you hear a voice. Touch me.
Why?
You don't get a reply after that.
Describe this thing again.
Like an amethyst, a large amethyst, but as you get closer, it's like it seems to be made out of glass, and inside is like this purplish, yellowish energy burning bright.
Okay, so Elsef has like a death machine. Just carry that to the workshop, and she just keeps it in a cupboard.
All right, I'm gonna whisper you something, and you can just write it down as what it is, so I don't have to remember it in about 3 months' time when you randomly pull it out of your pocket.
The cupboard just says "Don't touch" on it.
Mm-hmm.
Everything in the workshop is really badly labeled. Yeah, that's what I thought it was. Obviously, most of these books are also I would put down as forbidden knowledge.
Yeah, pretty much.
Fantastic. I'm just gonna write all of this down. You can go to the next person.
Yeah, okay, so that's the...
This is the wrong type as well. I wanted a bigger one than that.
Master Macro, I did not make this for you. I found it. And then she just points to the anvil with the slab of metal on it. That just says Macra's sword. I have been busy. And then she points
I
at
think you made it really quick, because that has the same lump of metal that was there yesterday, isn't it?
it is also the same lump of metal that was there the day before yesterday.
Yeah, makes sense. Right, okay. See you in a bit.
Alright, so we go over to Macra's downtime. During the first couple of days, Macra, you realise that your name spreads quite far and wide among the common folk, like I mentioned, and that you're being recognised on the street by a lot of people, and it's on the second day that you do get a message in the back of your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Papa! It's me! Mimu! We're safe! Frank's guarding us. If you need to see me, I'm at the conservatory. I'm so proud of you! Love you, bye! Then you You can reply to it if you want. You know,
just long lines of, I will come meet you now, I'll come to. I probably won't even reply. I probably don't realise that I can reply and then just go to the conservatory and meet up with them.
Alright, so how are you going to get to the conservatory, being that it's like 1,000 kilometres away?
Oh, is it not in the city?
No, yes, it's in...
Oh, Curtis.
Back in the other city, aren't we? Right, yeah, I know where we are now. I thought we were in Mokhul.
It's in Port Phobos.
I'll just do see you soon X then, something like that. Because I can't imagine Phobos anytime soon.
See you soon, kiss. What the hell?
I'll probably get someone,
FFF.
I'll probably get someone to write me a proper letter out and send a raven or something later. First couple of days though, immediately after murdering him, there's my name starting getting more recognised. I reckon it's getting recognised just because we're getting absolutely wankered every night.
Alright, yeah.
Going a bit now, kind of like lost all meaning in life. Now I'm no longer the sheriff. And I've got anything to do, like he's just going on the bend. After a couple of days of that, he'll probably start to try and help rebuild Shiredale.
Yeah.
So he'll be flitting a lot of his time between there, and I imagine with Grildor as well, and then occasional visits to Elzeth to tell him to hurry the fuck up with the sword. But most of the time with Shiredale and Grildor, going back between them. I don't know if Grildor actually has much room to do, but he's just kind of like, I imagine just sitting and drinking with Grildor for the most part.
Okie dokie.
Being chummy with him. Past bit helping out with Shiredale. No, I think a lot of his emphasis is in points to Shiredale, but then he's still getting Bratos on the night because he feels like he needs the sugar at least anyway. But it's just a lot of alcohol and putting buildings back up, I imagine, for the foreseeable couple of weeks anyway.
Right,
that's what I want to say. And then after a couple of weeks of that, he's starting to enjoy like the community aspect of it again, and like being like the leader of these, the impromptu leader of these people, I guess. And he starts getting more of a longing to kind of be back with his own people, because he starts realizing the only place he's ended up being a sheriff of this shit old town is because he got fucking overtaken, because his tribe got conquered by the God King, and then he got enlisted into the army, and then he disbanded the standing army, and then he's just kind of had nothing to do since then. So he's starting to get longings to return home, I guess.
Do you do any research into that, like as in returning to the Crystal Wastes? Do you see?
You can ask around. So you'll see if Laniros has got any, or Grildor have got any connections on the council, if they know anyone that's.
Your microphone is being really fucky, by the way. It's just popping a lot.
I was recording a load on it earlier, and it's fine. So I don't know if just Discord fucks with it, or the pop filter was on the microphone. That probably didn't help.
What were you recording? Sick rap tracks?
No, audio competition.
Anyway, continuing on. Yeah, so what about any of your previous allies, like Laniros or like Chester or anything like that?
Chester, I guess he could go and you'll probably get pissed a few nights with Chester just because he wants to like crash in his fancy new house and have people waiting on him for the night. Because that'd be like that can be a cool break of pace.
I've always loved you, Mac. You were the only one who got me. Like you just got me.
Chester's just talking at him. Just Macro just. He barely get any words out of him all night.
When you get big, does everything get big, or just some parts of you?
Just mumbling, his holding his ball, just.
I thought so. So what if you get big?
Carry on.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so that's pretty much.
Yeah, we could probably go to Laniros though to help, to ask her help about like researching the Crystal Waste and seeing what's actual cracks going on there, and then what's going on in Port Phobos and stuff like that. So like he'll use his higher up connections with Laniros and Grildor to keep him in the loop about them things. But I can't imagine it's long until he's itching to get on to the next thing, I guess. Go see his kids.
Yeah, Port Phobos, there's no news from Port Phobos, which is no news is good news, no violence. when it comes to the Crystal Wastes, the only news that you do find out is that most of the tribes there have for some reason, are now forced above ground. And you know that your tribes there used to live in the Crystal Dark, which is basically the Crystal Waste version of the Underdark. And they were beautiful. It's like the way that the crystals were entwined with the Underdark there, creating a kind of dimly lit, beautiful interior. But the news kind of like shocks you a bit, because during the day, it is imperative that most of the tribes stay in the Underdark. And then at night, they hunt, because the sun is so goddamn glaring. Being out in the Crystal Wastes with the sun blaring down on the crystals can literally burn a man alive in a few hours. At night, however, they glow because they emit the sunlight they had stored during the day, and it creates this eerie moonlight kind of substance. You know, that pock-marked flat desert with like these glowing crystals which give it a grey appearance. You remember the stars were bright over the Crystal Wastes, like so bright that you could see the entire of the kind of like galaxies above you. It's a bit confusing to you why the tribes are now staying above ground. And you hear that there's some trouble in the Crystal Dark there.
Cool. I guess with that jogging his mind as well of things to want to do, he'll probably trying to ask about, like, try to keep himself in the loop about this fire soul anyway. So I feel like Laniros is probably going to be doing the most research into that, as that is what the Fae Father wanted us to do. But he'll keep an ear to the ground and see what he can find out about that as well.
Okay. Well, alright, so we'll move over to Chester. So you're making a simulacrum, I'm assuming.
That is point 1 of 3 on his list of downtime things to do.
Right, so yeah, the simulacrum takes like the first day, correct? So
yeah, I think it's 12 hours, is it?
Yeah, I've given you a second character sheet for you to fill out for a simulacrum. However, you can give me some artwork before next week for the simulacrum if you want it to be different.
Yeah, will do. There's the spell.
Frosty Double Team.
Yep.
Frosty Eiffel Tower.
And I shall call him mine own.
And shortly, like maybe a week into your downtime, sorting out your manse estate, Chester, and creating your simulacrum, Elzef turns up at the door.
Ah, good Elzef. Well, I was just thinking about writing you a letter.
Master Decker, I do not read my letters. I get a lot of them these days, and I do not care.
Ah, that would have been most unfortunate. So what can I do?
We're going shopping.
Right you are.
And then Elsif just hands you a list of 3 things she wants, and helps you to go get them.
And I'll look at said 3 things.
It is a swamp hydra heart, some of its blood, and okra jelly.
Right, and you're confident you can find these things here, like, you know, at a Debenhams or...
Master Decker, you get me these things, and I will make you more famous than you are now.
Oh, right you are. Give me a day, good sir, because my lips are unsealed.
I will be here the next day with a carriage, and we will go to a different town.
Yes, alright, so Chester, you need a persuasion check, and this will take a week's worth of your downtime.
How much downtime do I have? Because I also have 2 other things to do.
We're doing months at a time at the moment, so...
Okay, cool. So, persuasion check, and this is a week of my downtime, no problem. I will use my inspiration if I can.
On what effects? Just advantage?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Cool. Just because I feel this might be important, and Chester likes being famous. Nice.
Alright, so, Elzef, it's going to cost you 2,200 gold pieces, but Chester, in a week's time, travels to different parts with you in the cart, to different towns, outlying villages, and eventually you find a merchant at a very familiar port town to the west, where you guys had originally fought the God King Simulacrum, who sells ochre jelly, well, because he's a deep gnome and he makes trips down into the Underdark for it. And eventually you guys return to Mokhul within a week with the full ingredients.
And Elsa then finally explains to Chester, Master Decker, we are now going to use these ingredients and the spell scroll I found to cure the affliction that has turned a neighboring town to stone.
Right.
He will then claim credit for this, so no one bothers me about it.
Right. I see. I can already see it now. Yes. Personal perusal of petrification by Chester Decker. Sounds excellent. I shall start writing. Oh, while you're there, and you're about to go on whatever it is you're about to do, could you potentially be so kind as to meet me in my house when you are done, potentially in a week's time with the others? I will be most in your debt.
Are you sure you do not want to come along to claim credit?
Well, go on then, but then I want to write a novel about it, so, it'll spread far and wide.
You can write it on the way there.
Excellent.
Right before it's even done. That's so a Chester thing to do.
Also, I'm very confident in this matter.
Yeah. Okay, so that's part of your next downtime, I guess. But we'll move over to Lineros. Is there anything else you'd like to do in the first month?
Well, the puzzle orb.
Yeah. You solve that, and the first thing, the moment you solve it, and you realise after about a day's study what it is, you're like, oh, like shit, like this, oh yeah, and then you kind of lock it for a later time. Now that you know what's inside.
Yep. Just safely tuck it away somewhere.
Yes.
And probably safe is just using it like as a fancy paperweight or something. So it's like
you're summer, aren't you? Oh my god.
in plain sight. Yeah.
Could you imagine what happened if the poor assistant comes in, ding, 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 goes?
Well, and obviously make sure that it's not like openable or anything.
Yeah, fair enough.
Maybe put an arcane lock on it or something. But like hiding it away in a vault is a sure way to have people go looking for it.
Sure is.
So yeah. Other than that, no, I think after a month or so of Lineros flitting about and trying to get everything like whipped into order, basically, so he kind of understands the goings on again. You see that he slowly starts changing again into kind of how it was, but a little bit less dull colored, basically. So more like a wood elf coloring.
Yeah. Also, I'd like to point out that during one of the meetings that you were at in the Moonlit Shield, maybe in the third week, Salim Bakin puts forward a new headmistress of the university, one Anrin Ironblood, and it pretty much is accepted by the entire council. They all kind of nod. Yep, that's fine by me. And Anrin is instated as the headmistress. Not much. Cool. Grildar says, she probably won't get on well with it for the first couple of weeks, but she'll fall straight into her kind of raw roles after that, being that she's quite shy, but reassures everyone she's up for it. And I guess that's your month. Point, you would meet with Chester, but we'll do the meeting with Chester after everyone's month.
Yep, that's cool. Also, I would like to do some spell scribing in that time period. Like I still had from my creation, I think 5,000 GP worth of spell scribing.
Yeah, so you're going to do some spell scribes.
So, yeah.
Yeah, okay. And we'll go over to Alwyn. Is there anything else you'd like to do in the month? Like, you've just met Chester. You've received a letter from Chester saying that at the end of the month that, and I would like to point out that all of you receive a letter saying Chester wants you to attend the like a meeting at the mansion at the end of the month.
Can I copy and paste the letter into the chat box? Because I've actually written it.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. Before Alwyn's next month, go ahead. We'll see what the letter says.
Let me just make sure it's all good. Yes, it is. It's why dear friends appeared before. There you go.
Yeah. All right, so do you want to read it out, shall I?
I've written his voice. Dearest friends, it pains me that we have been apart for so long. I've recently begun to plan an exhibition to a neighbouring island and can think of no better individuals to assist me in my endeavour. Please can we meet in my recently repossessed home to discuss the matter in person? I shall provide dinner and yes, Macra, drinks. Your eternal servant, Chester Decker, author, slayer of God King, master of women, international celebrity, destroyer of Xerxil Purge.
I imagine Elsef just sitting in front on the other side of the carriage, just looking straight at him as he reads this out.
Yeah.
Chester deliberately waited for rain so he could sit by a window seat and write that while looking out on occasion and narrating it in his own head.
It's funny you should mention that because, within near the end of the month's get downtime, the island does transition to its autumn, phase, and during that is the rainy season.
He loves it.
Right,
He
and then we
even
can
hired a violinist to play some music in the background.
we move over to Alwyn. Then, is there anything you'd like to do for the next few weeks? Sorry.
Yeah, he after having the chat with Chester, he's going to go and do some research on the Souls and Storm's Rest, mostly in terms of if Gwandia or any of his books suggest there might be a teleportation circle on Storm's Rest, or just some idea of the layout so it's possible to travel to.
All right. So as you're quickly doing your research, Gwandia kind of narrowed, like through his little pince nail on the end of his nose, he's like narrowing his eyes down at you, watching you, because you're quite like, I'm assuming you're like excited to do this, and he's kind of seeing you rush around the store. He's stroking one of the cats on his right, and he just goes, "What are you doing?"
Oh, I'm just finding out a bit of information about Storm's Rest.
His eyes.
The Irish is starting to come on a bit now.
Yeah. So his eyes kind of like dilate, and you see that blue glow in his eyes, and he says, "Why?"
I spoke to Chester, and he's looking to take an exhibition out there.
Why though?
He's looking for a couple of the souls.
You know the trouble that would bring. Owen, listen to me, please. We've been through this before. The souls bring nothing but trouble. You know that.
They can bring a lot of good as well, but I figure if they're gonna cause trouble, then if I'm there, I can at least help mitigate the trouble.
No, you don't understand, darling. And there seems to be something he's trying to hold back. Like, he's trying to decide whether to say it or not. Look, what soul are you going after?
I think he's after the Fire Soul and the Storm Soul.
Like, the Fire Soul is unattainable, okay? That's not gonna happen.
But then you have nothing to worry about.
The Storm Soul, however, I've met him.
What's he like?
It's been some time. He was quite young when I last met him. He would have aged, just like me.
You got any more to go on?
He was mad as well. Like, was talking about all kinds of stuff. Evils in alternate realities, an invasion of Drow, an angel in another world that wanted to open a portal and come here. Look, darling, he was just crazy. And I'm assuming he's grown up crazy, and now he's probably senile, and he's probably crazier still.
He probably wants to be dealt with then, doesn't he?
Dealt with.
Or something. I don't know what Chester wants with him, but I told you before, I just can't stay here and do it anymore.
I know that, and I want you to spread your beautiful wings, Orwin. I really do. But I want you to do it safely.
Nothing we've ever done has really been safe. Like, these people, you've seen what they've done. You've told me the bloody stories yourself.
Yes,
It'll be fine.
Look. There's someone out there that I haven't seen in some time that is also looking for the souls. And if you get involved with that person, then they're more than likely to be hurt, okay?
Alright, so why don't you tell me about the person, and if we come across them, then, well, we can avoid them.
Take a seat, and he pulls a chair out and begins brewing some tea. Look, when I was 20 years old, my father died, okay? And he handed it down to me, just like I want to hand it down to you. But then this person, they turned up, demanded it be handed over. Obviously, I just received it, and to pull it from me would kill me. This person said that in 40 years, she would return. It's coming very close to that. I can't have you running round, taking souls, especially if it clashes with this person's goals. I've seen what they're like, okay? Zealous.
Who is it?
No, look. Just promise me you'll be safe. And if you do go see this crockety old dragonborn, just don't get hit with a lightning bolt. They'll want to kill you in one hit. He's the Storm Soul for a reason.
Well, I get that. I'll be safe, don't you worry.
Do not take the soul, okay? Do not go attuning to it. You know what happens.
Fine. I won't touch a soul, alright?
Huh.
And then he gives you a wink and he says, "Good boy. Now go spread your wings and be fabulous."
Yeah, I'll leave the fabulous to you, Dad.
Yeah, he nods.
He gets off and heads out.
Yeah, what I said. Oh, okay, so you whispered me by accident, Todd.
Yes, yeah. But hey ho, you got the list anyway.
So yeah, they're the people you want to be there.
Well, he sends them a letter, but it doesn't necessarily mean that people are going to show up, obviously, because there are someone there that will be NPCs as well.
Yep. Alright. Then we all go to, I guess, Chester and... Well, wait, I haven't finished. Owen, is there anything else you would actually like to do in the month?
Well, just finish that research and...
Yep. Alright, make me a history check then, and we'll...
Yeah, I was going to say, if I catch light of the research, especially if it's regarding teleportation circles, I will also assist in doing the research.
Roll. That was a trash roll.
Perhaps on my own due to busy schedule. So, would you let me have a go at it as well?
It depends. I don't think he's told you yet, really. But, I mean,
that's why I said if I get a idea that he's doing the research, then I'll help out.
The only thing you heard was that Chester had invited him to an exhibition of storms. Right? Maybe you could do the role after you've met with Chester and you realise...
Yeah, that's fine.
Alright, so you don't really find much up in Gwandia's books. It's almost like there aren't any on purpose.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And you're forced to go to the university where currently people are being turned away because there isn't a headmistress or a headmaster yet. So...
Oh, Makhul's got an idea what to do then.
I think he might just risk a little trip there anyway, just to get a lay of the land.
What, to the university, or...?
No, to Storm's Rest.
You're going to try a trip there, with teleport?
Yeah.
Alright, we'll get to that after we've done this.
He'll just do as much... If he can't find anything in terms of teleportation circles, he'll read as much about the place as he can to get an idea of the geography and make an attempt.
Alright, we'll come back to you after this next... I don't know what's going to happen here with Elzef and Chester in a car on the way to Phoebo, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Tell me, Gwenda, in the car, and he's doing like small talk. Have you ever funded a ship and a crew for a little excursion? Oh, sorry, I thought you were someone else there for a moment.
Did you ever mention this expedition to Macro?
No. I sent Macro a letter.
No, you haven't mentioned about going to Phoebo to him, have you?
Oh, no.
No, Elsa doesn't mark on his
daily. What?
You would just eventually notice Elsif is not at the workshop when you go check for your sword.
Fucking, these are the worst two characters to be going Thebo. Definitely would let him know. Fuck's sake.
Alright, so go ahead. Elzef and Chester, you're on your way.
So,
No, please.
No, I interrupted you. Oh. He seems a bit awkward to be on the carriage.
It is just an entire journey of this.
Just awkwardness.
Yeah, just entire journey of awkward conversation.
Oh, look, a red kite.
Master Decker, have you noticed that I have assisted you in killing the God King as was discussed in my contractual obligation? Yet we have made no attempts at this point to recover 52% of my soul.
I wasn't aware there was a contract, I'll be honest with you.
I was, to be fair, made with Master Ironblood, but Master Ironblood has not contacted me since I have done my part. And I have, strangely enough, deduced that you are more to be trusted in this matter than Master Ironblood.
I am most flattered.
No, it is mostly just because you appear to have more things you want. As such, it is easier to bargain with you.
Ah, right you are.
I am an elf, as you have noticed, I assume. As such, I have no need to get this done fast. I assume Haida is most likely to die or get herself killed anyway. And I am still banking on the matter resolving itself by my soul just going back to me.
Right you are.
But we will have to do this eventually, Master Deku.
So we kill her?
Yes, that is actually the only way I have come up with as to now. We could also chain her to a bed and I could experiment.
Right. That's probably oh, that gives me an idea for another novel.
She does have the Void Soul inside of her. As such, I don't know how chaining up would function.
Anyway, how this? I've just been formulating something while you've been spilling nonsense. You assist me and forget about Grildar's little contract in my latest endeavour, and I rip the soul from her still living body and place it back in you. How about that?
Can you do that, Master Deku?
Not yet, but with your assistance and a little trip across the sea, I'll be able to do that to pretty much anybody I damn well fucking please.
I'm gonna roll insight on that one. How truthful is he being here? Oh, Elsif is shit at insight, I forgot. Oh, look at that.
But this time,
Yeah, go ahead, Chester. What does she get?
truth, he believes it's truth anyway, 100%.
Master Deku, you have gotten everything done you have set out to do at this point, stranger as your methods may be. And again, I have nothing but time, as such.
Yeah, I have no fucking idea how that happened. Sorry, well, it's because I am extraordinaire, of course, at most things. So,
I have noticed a mistake in your previous letter. You have put down Slayer of God King. You have killed him twice. So it should be Slayer of God Kings.
of course, the plural. English, weirdly enough, was never my forte.
Common.
Anyway, how about this?
So you guys are now approaching Phoebo after about 5 days' journey. In the distance, you can see it coming into view. A great grey mass before a mountain.
Yeah, Elsif just has the carriage driver and just assisted unloading the crate of alchemy supplies from the God King.
Mm-hmm.
And then prepares the spell as was instructed to her by, I think, what was it? One of the hags, was it, right? Told us how to solve this issue.
Yeah, huh?
And then, Master Deku, if you have any way of helping me with my arcana on this matter, I would be quite glad.
I shall assist you.
And then I'm gonna roll my Divinus dice, which I can add to ability checks.
Yep.
And Elsif is gonna cast Bless on herself to get another D4.
Fuck me, you really want to pass this roll, don't you?
Well, we only have one scroll of wish, so the D4 is 4. I have a 6 from the Divinus dice, so that's already plus 10. I'm gonna use my last inspiration I still have to get advantage on this.
Okay.
And then Elsif just gets out the scroll of wish we have recovered from the God King. And just says, I wish.
Whoa, shit.
That's 30 plus 10.
What's 14, isn't it?
No, the 6 is just one. You could just get one dice. So the 6.
Oh, yeah. So 40. Alright, so you managed to brew the potion down to its specifics. And as you whip the scroll out and say, I wish, time begins to slow. And before Chester could go, like, what? He just freezes. And in front of you, the ground quakes, rumbles. And above you, the weave opens up with a tear, like a lightning crack. And you see a great hand rip open the skies above you, and there's a flash of light, a bolt of purple lightning that strikes the ground in front of you, and this creature pulls itself up from this sludge, and then she pulls out of this green liquid, and before you see a beautiful pale-skinned woman, nude, and arcane energy, the very weave rips around her body, her hair begins to unfurl in patterns of golds and silvers, and as she looks up at you, you see a scintillating beauty of colours wash across her eyes. Say your wish!
I would like you to resolve this matter of the town being in stasis.
She turns, looks at the city. Say it!
I wish you to restore the city to its original state, which
There's
the citizens are alive.
She smiles, and then takes one step, looks towards the city, raises one hand. It shakes, and you see that the vial of the liquid explodes and rushes towards her hand. It condenses into a fine black singularity, and then she just flicks it across the countryside, and it strikes the city, and there's like a of energy, and then she turns around and goes, "Now the debt must be paid." And Chester, when time freezes, Elzef lays on the floor dead.
I have resolved the issue.
And you see the scroll in front of you begin burning away, revealing its true nature. It was not a wish scroll; it was cursed.
Happens.
Elzef. It's like he kicks her with a foot. Elzef. And he looks over at the city.
The city is coming to life. The effect went off. It just looked like Elzef may have paid with her life.
Fuck my mouth.
Um,
How far away is he from anywhere? Chester's got spells to help her, but it takes time.
The city's about 3 or 4 hours journey.
Okay, well, he's got an hour, to be fair, and he's got a diamond.
Have the diamond you were going to use on Zerg.
Yeah.
The spell didn't go off, so...
So he's just going to use that. He's just going to work out which one to use. Hang on.
He
doesn't have it. Give me a second. He has another one, though. I'm just trying to work out where it is.
Is there a reason in particular you don't have Revivify?
I can't remember.
Elsef has it.
It's not a bard spell, that's why he doesn't have it.
Ah, it's not a bard spell.
Is that one alright?
Yeah, if you want to cast that.
Yeah. It was named for Zaxil, but it's probably something else.
I think it applies to Elsef as well.
And as you are beginning to cast it, it's going to take an hour, and you make sure you mark off the 500 gold piece diamond. Elzef, in the underworld, you are forced into the queue before the judgment. Ahead of you, obelisks rise up out of this twisted, contorted environment, and around you, the screaming, moaning dead just shuffle forward. All of you are chained together, and then eventually you see a hound-headed Archon walking towards you, looks you up and down. You're lucky. And then just undoes your shackles, and then pulls you from the line, and then just kind of topples you off the cliff. And then you open your eyes to see blazing sunshine above you, and just Chester's face.
Oh, Master Decker.
Well, did you have a pleasant trip?
It was not unpleasant. The shackles were slightly too tight, I feel, but I don't know if that was just my imagination.
Ah, right, well, you can't exactly yelp them, can you? So, looks like you've succeeded, and I'll pull her to her feet.
Oh, good. Master Decker, please, after you claim credit, I will wait in the carriage.
Ah, of course. Yes. Go over to fuck it. He's been given this opportunity. He'll go right to the centre of the town. They might not recognise at all. There's a spell that has an effect on your voice and makes it loud, and I can't remember what it is.
Thaumaturgy.
Ah, fuck, he hasn't got that one. He will then start telling everyone who may or may not listen that he saved them from their plight, using a scroll of wish. No, he doesn't even say scroll, he says he used the spell wish, and that he is a mighty, mighty author/sorcerer from another town.
Roll a persuasion check. You see that the city's going about its business in a shuffling manner. Everyone looks confused, bewildered, exhausted, and one guy just collapses right in front of you.
It's not very good.
One woman looks at you as she walks past. She's Phoeboan, the usual kind of olive skin, dark eyes. She just stares at you as if she's just got a vacant look in her eyes. There's nothing there.
Yes. Well, and Chester will look around and see if they're all the same or very similar at least.
No one seems to be listening to you.
Yes. On second thought, it wasn't me. It was a passing druid. I fucking hate druids. And he'll like back his way out of the city, run back to the cart, and be like, "Do you know what? I'm just going to write it down." And also, I think there might have been a problem with that scroll.
Oh yes, definitely. I was not supposed to die.
No, let's look a little bit outside of the immediate circle here, and that town seems to be a little bit vacant.
Vacant. I will investigate, Master Decker. Would you come along, or do you prefer to stay here?
Fine, as long as it's not dark and there's someone with me. Shit, yeah, I'll go.
Oh, is that bad? Yes. Okay. And Elsa just goes through towns attempting to speak to people.
Yeah, as you head towards the city, isn't it? So as you walk towards the. Are you heading towards the city? Is that what you're doing? As you head towards the city, Chester, when you were in there, everyone seemed to be shuffling around vacant, kind of moaning, groaning, confused. The moment you approach, Elsa, if you begin to slow down slightly, by the gates, there's a man on his knees in front of somebody laying down. And as you get closer, you begin to see there's a puddle of blood around the corpse. And the man that is on his knees has his hands inside the body of the one laying down and is pulling his innards out and shoving them in his mouth.
Now, Elsif is versed on the matter of the soul. Do these people have souls still?
You're not quite sure. However, this you're quite far away at the moment, so he hasn't noticed you, but you see and you hear... you hear some screaming inside the city.
Master Decker, I appear to have misjudged how this would go.
So, you remember that time when I looked through a glass thing and killed a lot of people?
I was not there, Master Decker, but thank you for informing me about this matter.
Don't worry, it happened. We kind of just smiled and backed away.
Well, I will not smile, Master Decker, but I do think this is, we should not grandstand our involvement in this matter.
When you two went to Thebo, I was like, right, my kids are in Thebo. They're definitely going to kill my kids. This isn't how I thought you'd go about it, but zombie apocalypse is one way to go.
No, Thebo, Curtis. Thebo
They're in Port Phobos.
Oh, Phobos, you've gone right,
I
okay.
don't even remember that.
So, we go. And we leave this lot here. Sound good?
Should we not take a corpse along so I can investigate what went wrong?
A what? Sorry?
Well, there's a fresh corpse. Once that man stops eating it, and I would like to take it along.
You want to put that thing in the back of our wagon for 5 days in the hot sun?
Are you rejecting my proposal, Master Decker?
Well, it depends how many pine fresh you got in the back of that fucking carriage.
I did not bring any.
Very well. Jesus.
You two are as you were speaking, you see what looks like a Phoeboan guard run out full pelt from the gate, and as he does, he skids to a halt next to this man on the ground, looks up, and you see he's wearing his helmet slightly askew, and then he draws his gladius, his short blade, and runs up and just goes swoop and cuts the head off of this creature, and then just runs towards you guys.
Oh, Master Guard, are you fine then?
He runs past you and keeps going. Doesn't even speak to you.
It appears that everyone is afflicted by this matter, so I would say I have half succeeded, Master Decker.
What exactly did you, wish for before you pulled out that fucking monstrous piece of paper?
Oh, I wish the town to be restored to its status before the matter.
Ah, right. In that case, we wash our fucking hands, tic-tac-toe back to our fucking New Chester, wherever the fuck it's called now. Fucking town.
I do remember the zombie plague that was set loose around the time the town was afflicted, so this might not be my fault.
No, I think if anything, you've probably done him a good favour. Can we please go? Can we please go? I don't like the idea of these flesh-eating corpses coming after us. We're in the general fucking vicinity. I was fucking in there 30 seconds ago, so this information was good before I strolled in.
How does the carriage driver look?
The carriage driver is some way behind you. And what you realise is, as you turn around, you see that the guard is running straight for your carriage.
Master Guard, we would also like to get along on this carriage. I have paid for it.
He's like full on running across the flat ground, kicking up dust, going full pelt, like faster than a human should be able to go.
How far away is he from us?
About 100 foot, going for the carriage.
Well, Elsif has expeditious retreat, so she's gonna catch up to him.
Yeah, okay. And he's grabbed the reins of one of the horses.
And she can fly, so she's getting on that.
So you get there, and you see that the wagon driver's like, whoa, whoa! And this guard is like, give me the horse! Give me the horse, they're everywhere!
We are leaving now, good sir, and you can tell us about what is happening in the town in the back of the carriage.
Oh, that sounds like a good idea, yeah.
He looks at both of you, you see the wild look in his eyes, and he says, okay, let's just go!
And we leave with the carriage.
Yeah. And as you're leaving, you can see that a lot of people are running out of the gate, going in different directions from the city. Yeah, okay, so as you head back to New Neria, I'd like to point out that I actually have a reminder on my Roll20 in big capitals that says, remember that the Wish Scroll is cursed. Just so that I don't forget that the Wish Scroll was cursed.
So, this was an effect from the cursed Wish Scroll, because there was some zombies let loose in Mokhul around the time this all happened. So
the Revenants.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, so the Wish Spell was the one that's done this whole thing.
Yeah, it was cursed.
And now we have like a White Walker situation going on in the Broken Empire. Fantastic.
Yeah, kind of.
Let's hope they can't swim.
I mean, who gives a shit?
Can we get to that?
I mean, I was very I was sitting there going like, oh, it's such a good intention. It's so heroic and so good. Oh, it's just a shame that the scroll's cursed. Like, I was like, as a GM, really wanted that to be such a good moment for your character, but
it is absolutely fine. Elsif just did it to get Chester in her good graces, so he'd do shit for her. So, didn't work out.
Alright, so now that that's done...
He was unpunished. Can we look at the map? Which city we've just been dealing with? Port Phobos, then? Was that the one that got petrified?
Man, how drunk are you?
Thebo is the town that got petrified. We've been through this. Port Phobos is where your kids are.
You were just at Thebo, not Port Phobos.
Yes.
We've never mentioned Port Phobos.
That's fine. Yeah, okay.
OMG, I found Chester's simulacrum.
Okay, well, we'll deal with that during the break. But we will go straight to Chester's meeting, maybe at the end of the month, if that's all right with everyone. And inside the...
Get any idea of anything?
Oh, yeah, fuck, I forgot you wanted to teleport. Remind me, sorry, you wanted to teleport to it.
Yeah, I couldn't find anything in terms of teleportation circles, so
No,
we did
not
some
at all.
research into the geographic location, and we'll make an attempt to teleport there just to get a lay of the land.
All right, geographically, you know that Storm's Rest Rock is like a fortress, a big kind of built into the cliff face on the south of the island. The rest of the island is meant to be quite wild and untamed.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Let's go to the interesting place then.
All right. So, do you want to do? You don't know where you're going, do you? So it's like a D100.
Yep. Let's go to the sea.
Let's see what happens though. Owen could last like one session. All right. Are you taking anyone with you? Or is it just you?
Just myself.
All right. I shall roll the D100.
All right, here we go.
Okay. All right. So you cast the spell. Alright, first things first, you take a bunch of damage. So you take that amount of force damage, 12 force damage.
Okay.
And then you re-roll it. I'll re-roll it again. Jesus. Alright, now something happens. Alright, so you travel straight through that sucking sensation as you teleport across the planet, and immediately you're in a primeval woodland. And you look around you, and it's dense pine land. Like, below you, pine cones begin to crunch beneath your feet.
Well, this doesn't look right.
There's a gentle layer of snow across the needles of the pine tree, and above you, the sky's grey, cloudy. Immediately, you've gone from we'll say about 25 degrees Celsius to 5. You've just gone from warm to cold, and above you, there's a gentle snow, and you see a big swirling grey cloud in the sky.
Okay. Have I got any idea of where I might be?
Well, you remember the detail of there was a big swirling cloud around Storm's Rest Rock.
Oh, so I think I might be in.
You're
roughly the right place,
you're
just a bit
somewhere
further north.
Yes, somewhere on the island, somewhere for sure. You're on a hilly, mountainous terrain.
Okay. I guess he'll do a bit of travelling south then, as he assumes that would be the direction to go.
Right, can you make me a survival check?
Probably not. I'm a survivor, keep on surviving.
Can you roll me a d12?
Shortest character lived ever.
Right, so you're stomping your way for a couple of hours, evening is beginning to descend, and then you hear something ahead of you. Not trying to stealth, not trying to be quiet. Pine cones crunching. And you hear a keening screech, and then another crunch, and a pair of owlbears appear some 120 feet uphill, looking down at you with their glowing eyes. And they're not making a move, but you know what owlbears do.
Mm-hmm.
They're not moving towards you. You're currently standing still.
Yeah, just to stare off, and then that.
Okay, the moment you do that, you see, when you surprise a dog and they're completely shocked, when you disappear from, they go, both of them do that. They look at one another, one of them just runs away. the other goes, begins sniffing the air. I want to see if they. Yeah, and the other one sniffs the air, moves around a bit, and then eventually follows its mate, vanishing into the woodland.
I think you just stand still for the full minute.
Yeah, okay, you keep standing still. And you can hear distant crunching and snapping of trees and you can actually hear some howls of cubs, which is probably why they were there. And then eventually it all goes silent and darkness begins to descend on the island. It's very deep darkness because you're underneath lots of dense trees.
Mm-hmm. Okay. After having taken a look around and got a better idea of the landscape in person, he'll use a teleportation circle back to Gwandia's shop.
Alright, yep, so it takes full 10 minutes. Let me roll something quickly.
1 minute.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, teleportation circle's 1 minute.
That it is.
Right, so as you're casting the teleportation circle, you get the feeling of being watched. And then you finish the spell and disappear.
Okay.
Yeah. And you reappear in Gwandia's teleportation circle. Gwandia's just standing there on his rocking chair, sitting there in his rocking chair with his legs folded and his arms folded as well. And you appear with a fine layer of snow upon you. And he says, "When I said spread your wings, I didn't mean fly across half of the fucking world!"
He just goes and sits down by the fire and he's like, "I'm not talking to you."
He says, "I scryed on you. I knew where you were." Whoa!
Jesus.
Yeah, I scryed on you. I knew where you were.
Well, if you knew where I was, do you mind telling me? Because I didn't have a bloody clue.
You were on Storm's Rest Rock, son.
Oh, at least I got close then. It wasn't too bad. Could have ended up in the sea, you know.
I don't know what I'm going to do with you. And then he walks off himself, storms off, very flamboyantly.
Proper cape swish and waddle away.
Mm-hmm. All right, so before the meeting in Chester's house, Macfro, throughout the trepidation up to the meeting, you are beginning to have disturbed sleep, like you used to when your wife was a revenant and she would appear around and you'd have dreams and PTS dreams about the war and stuff like that. You'd had a bit of a break from them, but they seem to come back with very vivid nightmares of what looks like on your first dream, you are running through the crystal dark as you remember it as a child, not like as you would remember it now. And you can see in front of you a bunch of what look like bugbears running with javelins. Then one of them turns, and in a gruff voice, you see he's got like a collar necklace of bones. And he says, "Get going!" And he tells you and your sister to run. As he throws a javelin, you feel this keening screech, this like horrible noise in the back of your head, and you fall to the ground and you turn to see this bugbear thrown to the ground by a hooded figure, and these what look like purple fingers come out of the hood and wrap around the back of the bugbear's head. And then you and your sister run and you wake up in a sweat. And then one of the next dreams, you remember a great silver dragon that your parents used to talk to in the Crystal Dark. An honourable creature. And you remember this, you have this nightmare of it being swarmed by these slimus mucus-like creatures with claws being taken down. These memories or nightmares keep coming back to you over and over throughout the month of downtime. These horrible dreams of these creatures in the Crystal Dark, killing bugbears, lizard folk. Because you do remember there was a lizard folk clan that was also allied with your goblinoid clan. You begin to remember these short memories as a child before the God King arrived and completely decimated most of your tribe and took the rest of the young as prisoners of war.
During these nights then, Draslas is going to start letting himself get more and more disheveled, so he'll start growing in more of a beard. And it's normally it's not too bad. It's not too bad of a colour, but his beard's starting to come in quite white again. Well, it's more bushy because he used to have a bit of a one at the bottom anyway, but it's just going a bit more Gandalf with it. And it's getting a lot more white, like streaks on it. But more weirdly then, all of his veins, like especially on his arms, but all across his body where he's vascular, they're starting to turn like pale to begin with, like to contrast to his like grey body, and eventually start turning white. Like as his dreams start progressing more and more, so it looks like it's been struck by lightning. As he's got these white veins running across him, he's starting to get less and less sleep, and to the point where his eyes, instead of being bloodshot red, they're getting whiter and whiter. To the point where they're almost emitting like a faint light, and his pupils are starting getting overtaken by it as well. So he's got a white pupil in the middle of his iris, and then his iris is getting overtaken by these white streaks as well.
You need to remember that you are blind in one eye, so it'd just be one of the eyes that's getting these.
Yeah, one of the eyes. The other one's gone. The other one in her jaw and the Feywild's starting to go white then.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Well, I'm glad to see that Xerxes' haunting has begun.
Yeah.
I'm
Just
sad
as
to say the hack didn't see the whole town go to shit.
Okay, so...
Actually, I blame Xerxes for Phoebus.
It is true. By the way, Todd, I think Elspeth has finally beat Chester at death count.
I think definitely potential death count 100%.
I think Theba was probably the latter town. So, second town destroyed in this campaign of innocence.
I didn't know you were going to use the wish scroll for that.
You gave us a quiz that involved the wish spell, and you gave us a wish scroll. What did you think I was going to do with the wish scroll?
I don't know. I didn't expect you to find it.
Was murder the continent on that list of things to do?
Like, I assumed that you'd find it as a group, but then again, you were all chasing Xerxon and you rushed straight past it. It's only because you went back on your own that you found it.
I want to point out 40 Arcana check. I don't care that it all went to shit. I rolled a 40. Behold my arcane powers.
For the moment, you could see the universe through your butthole.
Alright, so we're going to go to the meeting at the end of the month that Chester has brought you all in for. And as you all approach, you see that the only...
Before this, we do drop the guard off at the Ironbloods estate.
Yeah.
And introduce him so the meta gets brought in front of the ruling council. And Eldev just tells Chester, Master Decker, just tell them we were in the area.
So we found this guy, and he's got a story to tell you.
Okay, I'm assuming Grodor just nods and says, I'll listen.
Maybe
as he does that, he's slipping a new manuscript into his bag that he wrote on the way back that was named the Night King or something, but spelt with a K.
Okay. Alright, so we'll so the only NPC that's turned up to this end of month meeting is Anna, and she teleports in from Longinia. And before we go for this meeting, let's have a 5-minute break so everyone can go for a bathroom break and get some food and drinks.
Grab some champagne and some olives.
Be right back.
I want
Yeah.
All right, so let me set the scene a bit. You're all in currently Chester's manse, and Chester, all they expect as they walk in, or what happens?
They'd be greeted by a well-dressed maitre d' that looks like he's trying very hard to be Grildar's one, but just a cheap knockoff. As they are ushered through to the dining room, there'll be olives and canapes on a polished table, and Chester himself will be there, accompanied by a very small and cheap string band that looks like he's picked up from one of the seedier establishments in the city. Friends, welcome, welcome. Enjoy some canapes. The salmon is particularly delicious. They feed off the blood and semen and piss of the Bretonians over their side of the ships, you know. Extra delicious. Come in, take a seat.
A seat shall be taken.
That is a particular turn of phrase, but I'll have a try and I'll take some salmon.
Ever since the Bretonians have left, their navy have left. They've left like a trade route in its place, and they've still got the Admiral Payne Chambers on the council here. But other than that, their military presence has left, but their cultural difference and presence has kind of stayed. Continue on, Chester.
Friends, sit down. Who's actually arrived? Is everyone here, I presume?
Yeah, the only NPC to arrive that you ordered was Anna.
Yeah, I know. I didn't expect Grildar to come, to be fair, as much as he wanted him to.
You did get a reply from Gwendef. It was just a note that said no.
Oh.
That is not true. Gwendef would have actually written a letter.
Yeah? What would it have said?
I would have just said, I still have too much from my conscience from our last team up. I was working on curing the Theboan affliction, but it appears they have now been revived and turned into zombies. I have been shooting zombies all day. We will meet up.
Chester looks at it quickly, screws it up, and throws it into the fire. Whoops. Friends, you are here upon my behest, and I wish and entreat you to listen to me. Each of you here have become deep and a close friend to me over the years, and now it is my time to stand before you and ask you to invest in me. I have never before let you down, and I will not at this point. You see, I have an endeavor to retrieve the last of the items that I have been looking for over our time together. Sorry, Laneros, I know that you're new to this. I'll try and keep you up. It's Storm's Rest Rock, a place not far from our very continent. So I ask you again. Well, I ask Makrar again, and you three anew, and Anna, of course, to join me on a sea voyage to this here place. However, there does come some caveats with it. One, I will be talking to an Eternal, potentially the Storm Soul itself. That is the aim of my quarry. Two, I shall need to procure some funds, because I do not want to spend the time gathering a crew. It's the most distasteful pastime. I would like to hire and charter a ship that comes ready-made, and therefore we don't need to have any emotional attachments to those that sail with us. As you can sure, it is a necessity. And three, it would appear that if you were to invest in me upon this endeavor, I should offer you something in return, and there will be a somewhat limitless return upon this here venture. You see, the contract would be simple. You ask for something in return for funding me, portion of the ship, and a stake in the exhibition, and I will return to you your deepest desire upon completion of the task. What say you?
That's good to me. You can sign me up.
Oh, good. Excellent. Chester takes out a long, established contract and writes Alduin's name. Just sign here, sir.
He takes the contract and has a look through it.
It's lots of flowery nonsense that basically says, help me by ship, go Storm's Rexros, talk to Storm Soul, and I give you deepest, darkest desire upon return.
How much is he asking?
Would Chester know how much roughly? I mean, he would have done his homework, to be fair, in downtime. How much would he need to fund a ship?
If you wanted to buy a ship, you need at least 50,000 gold pieces. But
we've got charter a crew there and back.
hiring one and stuff like that is going to cost you maybe 10,000, like coming with the crew and the ship and everything like that. But of course, destroying the ship leaves you in the shit. So if it gets destroyed or damaged,
Leave that to Chester's persuasion skills. So that's 10,000. He's asking for 1,700 gold from each of you.
I really like that. Like Elwyn's sitting here, like I can teleport, but I'll just let Chester go through the motions.
Well, he doesn't mind the sea voyage. He just wants to get out. He's happy.
Yep, fair enough.
And Chester wouldn't know to ask either, so he's taking the leaf out of Gwendeth's book.
Providing there's nothing untoward, he signs.
It's fairly straightforward. If anything, the most liable party in this contract is 100% Chester.
Chester, please, please, can I have that, please? And Anna walks forward and takes it.
Ah, yes, friend of Xerxil. Thank you very much for coming. I thought you...
My name's Anna.
Yeah, wasn't Anna Xerxil like mate?
Yeah.
She was also our mate.
Yeah.
Anna, I was particularly moved by your speech at Xerxil's passing. You know, me and him were very close, of course.
Yes, I do remember you cowering from him several times.
Just sign the contract, please.
Yes, of course. No. I need to read it first. Ah, I see. You wish to go to Storm's Rock to meet the Storm Soul?
Yes, that is exactly what I wish to do.
Sounds dangerous.
I can't promise that there won't be a couple of owl bears along the way.
Well, I would like to meet the Storm Soul. He sounds like an interesting person. An entity of the eons. I will come. And then she signs, and she says, and in response, I just want the adventure.
Ah, you're most kind.
If there is any sign of any tomfoolery like last time, I will immediately leave via teleportation and take whomever wants to come with me.
Tomfoolery, define it, please.
Well, all of the stuff that happened before. This has got to be safe, right? We can't just,
Good, Anna, you wound me. I would never put you in such a disastrous situation.
Come on, I remember what happened at the port of Phobos.
Yes, well...
I've died for you and your crew twice.
Teleportation it is. A worthwhile cause.
Yes, and then she says, I'll get the gold. And she steps back, handing the contract over to the next person, which is Elzef.
Before we begin, Elzef, Alwyn, you neglected to tell me your price.
Well, yeah, it doesn't state it in the contract that I need to tell you at such time, so I'll tell you as when I'm ready.
A man of mystery. I like it. Elzef, the contract is yours.
Elzef reads the contract. She reads it pretty fast and just signs it. We have discussed this matter, Master Decker. I do still not understand why the Storm Soul specifically, when we are tasked with killing the Fire Soul, I believe it was, and the Void Soul is freely available in Hadar's hands.
Yes, and I will not pretend that they do not go hand in hand, but my endeavour is my own.
Well, I was just pretending to really care, Master Decker.
Right, you are. One soul in exchange for adventure.
Yes. And Elzef just hands it to the next person. Can I leave, Master Decker? Is there more?
Well, there's more olives.
I shall take my leave, Master Decker.
I are.
Master Macra, your sword is not ready. Please stop asking. And Elzef just leaves. Elzef came in from the workshop, and there's now oil all over the floor.
Since you start seeing Macro getting a bit more like old and grizzled, he's stopped caring as much about the story. It seems like his mind's on slightly other things. As the contract passed to me next.
Yeah, sure.
When are you expecting to take this expedition?
as soon as I can charter a ship, but I'm willing to give everyone here as much time in the city as they require, up to and including a month.
So we're staying in the city before then, right? I'm having problems, let's say, at the moment. My homeland calls to me for a last term. I think it's something to do with Hadar. I just can't sleep eluding me. Can't sleep.
I do worry about you sometimes, Macra.
Yeah, I'm in a bad way at the moment. Bad way.
Perhaps some sea air will clear your head, and then upon your return we shall venture and help. Of course, if you have a desire, you merely need to pick up the quill and the scribble in whatever hand you were taught in.
How long are we expecting this expedition to last?
Chester would have checked this over the last however long. Does he know how long the voyage is to see Storm's Rest?
Yeah, about 3 months.
Fuck me.
What, there and back?
No, just to get there.
It would be probably nary half a year.
And in autumn, yeah.
It would probably be nary a year, Master Macra.
That's rough waters as well.
It would probably be nary a 4th year, Macra. But you never know with these things. Last time we ended up in an ice cave and got barbed wire raped by a dragon.
Yeah, there is that. What are the chances we can head to Phobos before?
If that is your desire, you merely have to include it in your signature.
That's on the way, isn't it? Because that's where we're going into it. Storm's Rest Rock here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so yeah. As long as we can nip Port Phobos and maybe stay there for a little while first.
I see no reason why we should not.
Yeah. I'm in that, mate. You know I'm here for you.
Excellent.
Near us then, I guess.
Cross body a little bit from the tense state he's in. He's still a bit unnerving, just like he's got this one glowing eye at the moment, and an eye patch across the other.
What guarantees exactly can you give me that if I ask for something that you'll be able to provide it? It simply has an open ending here. There's no detailing of how you will go about your business of providing these darkest desires to whomever signs these contracts. So please do enlighten us.
Yes, well, probably is about time I mentioned something. It is only fair, seeing as you're scribbling down on a piece of paper. I'll merely fill Eldeth in later. You see, the only person here who will know of this information, of course, is my dear Macra, and potentially Anna. But I have been collecting scrolls, Netherese scrolls, across the time I have been travelling with this party, or hitherto. And I intend...
You see Anna sigh. It's about that.
Yes. And I intend to collect the final piece of the puzzle and cast a very, very powerful spell. Potentially you've heard of it. Karsus's Avatar.
Okay.
Have I?
I'll make an Arcana check.
That's right. That was 16.
It was a 16. Okay, well, yes, you've heard of it, but in the Feywild, remember, the weave isn't adhered.
It's different,
doesn't adhere to the same rules as the material plane. So spells like that can be commonplace for the Archfey. So you just kind of don't get why he would need it, why he would disobey the rules.
Okay.
It's, you know what it does, and you know that it's got a downside. So you're the only. You don't understand why he would risk that.
Perhaps you now will discuss a slightly adjusted contract, if that is suitable for you.
Very well, very well. Of course, I would be willing and open for your assistance. You've proven yourself a capable man, I might add.
And I'll start drafting a document right then and there.
Mm-hmm.
And the document will say that after retrieving the scroll, which is what the goal is, right? After retrieving the scroll, Leonard doesn't want an unspecific contract that says whatever he wants, because it's that never works. So he just wants, after successfully getting the scroll, 1 month of just cooperation in diplomatic matters, because, like it or not, he has sway over people. And you'll pledge yourself to whatever cause I decide is suitable for me at the moment for 1 month.
So just those two things?
Not just that one thing, basically.
Okay. When? Before or after I cast my spell? You see, I'm very close to the finish line, and I do believe that actually, once we've made this endeavor, I will be able to spend some time to, as it were, bend the rule.
The period can start within 14 days after casting the spell.
Very well. I accept.
Okay, and I'll write down that so that I offer my services here in exchange for these services. There'll be 1 month of service from Chester, which can start within any of the 14 days after casting the spell.
Chester signs it with like the most flamboyant, flowery piece of shit signature you've ever seen.
Of course he does.
I like how you've only got Chester's permission there, so it just might be you and Chester going on this mission afterwards. I guess if Chester's got this ultimate power, he probably only need him.
I don't think he wants anyone else on that thing. I don't think the rest is really like diplomatically inclined.
Genuinely.
Oh yeah, definitely he wasn't going to ask anyone else's help. He just needed Chester's influence, basically, because it's helpful.
Surprising.
What's going on now, our post-party? Are you all continuing to stick around so that you can...
Well, has everyone forked out the gold? Because that was part of the contract.
Oh yeah, that was not part of my contract. I just offered my services.
Now.
Yeah, I'm going to research a way to get us teleported there.
Well, I'm happy to. I'll probably. Well, if he missed that genuinely, he'll front the other part of the gold. But everyone else had the 1,700 they had to offer up.
Elsa gives him that gold. She doesn't really.
Same.
There's Anna.
Anna looks at you and says, "Oh, fine." And in the corner of the room, casts a spell, and then a chest appears on the table with a heavy thunk, opens it up, and walks over to you and hands you a bag. Doesn't look like it's got 1,700 gold pieces in.
What does it look like?
Looked like a bag full of stones at first.
Well, what's this nonsense?
Well, these are gemstones, idiot.
Right you are. These will fetch a hefty price.
Yes, they might. This is all I can offer you right now.
All right. Fucking hell, keep your wig on.
What?
I'll see you. I'll send another letter with the address of the ship.
Okay, sounds good. Well, I'm going to go back home, and until you summon me back again, I'll continue researching this place.
All right, fine.
Good luck! And she shakes your hand.
Good luck.
So, Anna, was it? Was that
She
your name?
turns. It seems like for the first time, Owen, she's seen you, and she stops, and you can hear a sharp intake of breath, and she looks you up and down. Oh,
Back streets back. All right.
Yes, it's Anna. Yeah, Anna. That's definitely my name.
Oh god. Did you say you're doing research on Storm's Rest?
I was going to, yes. I was going to do it at home. I'm from Longinia, the city of bridges.
Oh, Longinia. I spent a lot of time there myself. Yeah.
You do, yes.
I've been looking in my own library and couldn't really find much. Do you have any books yourself on it? Storm's Rest, of course, not Longinia.
Well, I could look. Yes, of course, I could. Yeah, I own a library. Yes. Hi, I'm Anna. I own a library in. I do. We can go there now if you want. Oh, sorry, that was very forward of me. Yes, we can research in the morning, and in the light of day. Yes.
So, Chester reaches over and just whispers to Alwyn, "Careful. The GM introduced her a while ago as a plot hook for me to be a friend, and then she turned on me and joined the Scaly Nightmare."
That's right, Chester. I'm here for the research, so it's all right.
Alright, just a warning,
But yes, if you wanted a research partner, then I'd love to see your books.
Yes, research partner, and you'd love to see my books. Okay, I show you my books in the morning. Yes.
Show him your box.
If you wouldn't mind, I'll come along as well, but I'll promise I'll leave you two to investigate your books in peace. I haven't been to the teleportation circle in some time, so if you would be willing to take me along, that'd be appreciated.
Of course you can come. Why wouldn't you come with us?
As I said, I'll make sure you have your time to investigate the matter.
She blushes completely and she goes, "I'm going to eat some food," and then runs off.
What's that all about?
Yes, it appears that you have some things to learn.
About
You
what?
been schooled in particular ways by Master Gwandia, yes?
What kind of ways?
Well, the ways of magic and finance, presumably.
Yeah, always the bloody finance.
Yes, not so much the world, it seems.
Well, that's why I'm trying to get out and have a look.
Mm-hmm. It's probably for the best. Shouldn't let that wait too long. Come, and I'll put him over to a table and grab a drink with him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Right, and as you walk over there, Owen, you can see him in the corner. He's poorly disguised as a party goer, except you can see his portly belly from here, hanging out the coat. He's drinking wine, and he eyes you as you walk past.
Yeah, I think I just roll my eyes many, many a time.
And as you do, you hear him whisper, "Fly your wings, but safely fly your wings." And then Gwandia kind of floats off into the crowd to socialise.
Yeah, there is definitely more eye rolling, and just follows Leros to have a discussion.
Yeah, and you see
Life's matters.
You see Gwandia disguised walks up to Anna, and you see some sort of conversation going on. As you and Leros are having a drink, you see Anna put one hand to her mouth and slap him round the face, and then she walks around the table muttering to herself, and you see Gwandia hold his face and then look around as if hoping no one noticed, and you see the fake moustache is slightly turned, so it's kind of facing down, and he kind of writes it and then walks off.
So anyway,
Right.
I was saying, they just trail off.
Yeah. Alright, so Elsa, if you were leaving, right?
Elzif just leaves.
Alright, so as you're leaving, it starts to rain when you're about 2 minutes out of the house. And not just any rain, just torrential downpour, down. And sheets of it just cover the entire road, begin immediately flooding the nearby orchards. And you just look down, and a man just walks up to you, one of the servants of the house, and just parasol flips open and he holds it over your head. "Care for me to escort you, fine madame?"
The way I see it, if you escort me, my feet get wet. If I fly home, the rest of me gets wet. If you give me the umbrella and I fly home, I do not get wet.
"Okay, madame," and he just hands the umbrella over to you.
Kasov takes the umbrella and just slightly elevates and flies home.
Leaving him drenched as you
Mary
fly
Poppins
away.
to Sea's End.
Alright, so what about Chester? What are you doing in the party now?
Chester will immediately leave. Would he have had the foresight to invite some local sea captains? Maybe yes, maybe no. I'll leave it up to you.
You did, but no one turned up.
Alas. Who else is there currently?
Currently, you have Hedgelow Morningstar has turned up, the noble that you invited, and Captain Amon, who returned with Grildar, has turned up to this party and is socialising.
Okay, he's going to do two things. First thing he's going to do is walk over to wherever Macra is drinking, knock on the table and say, Macra, we've all decided we're going to hand over some fucking gold now, aren't we?
Such a slimy little bitch. Fucking dedicate my life on these fucking dangerous bastard missions.
He's put it this way, he's just got like 8 belts just full of gold around him because he's not really got much else to carry it in, and he just like picks 2 of them off and fucking throws one at you and then puts the other one on the table.
I do remember you were once a very silly little boy and lost it all quite quickly. Think about, how lucrative our little arrangement's been.
Yeah, fuck off. Get me some more Bretonian wine.
Ah, a wine for the gentleman. And then the second thing he'll do is walk over to Captain. Good Captain Amon.
He turns, and you see that since he left the city with Grildar, he shaved his head, and he's got this slight tanned, non-tanned look around him where he shaved it, and he's wearing fine noble's robes at the moment of House Tourette, and he stares you up and down and says, "Well done on the defeat of the God King. You couldn't have done it better myself. You made me and my allies proud, and especially my mother."
Oh, well, it's good to hear. A good high compliment from you indeed, sir. And I must say, those colours look good on you.
Well, now that the Blood Knights have been disbanded, I've taken up residence in House Tourette permanently, and Kazmoot has adopted most of the Blood Knights now as actual daughters and sons. And then he leans in and says, "She is forming a sort of military there, I would say. There are nearly 200 of us."
Interesting. It's always good to be on the right side of the revolution, is it not?
He kind of tries to mimic your laugh, but embarrasses himself and coughs. But yes.
I think we can help each other in 2 ways. The first is I'm looking for some information, if you wouldn't mind being forthcoming, knowing the city as well as you do. And in return, I will take my particular band of troublemakers away for a goodly amount of time while the city stabilizes.
Okay, and what do you want me to do about it?
The most effective sea captain for charter you can think of the top of your head, in the city, preferably a Bretonian. They're the best seafarers we have.
Well, you know that most of our navy was crushed beneath the Bretonians' navy, right? And that we don't have many ships at all.
My good man, that does go without saying, and if you thought any different was going to happen, you're so quaint.
Where do you need to go?
Let's say, for the moment, Port Phobos, and then some good ways beyond, and potentially even to the Blossom Empire.
Ah, so you need deep sea travel then, I'm assuming? A big ship that can handle rough waters.
Yes, and a goodly amount of long nines. You see, we tend to find quite a lot of trouble along the high seas, dragons notwithstanding.
Well, I can look around for you if you wish.
I would be most grateful, and like I said, my part of the bargain would be we would be out of your hair for a goodly while.
No problem. I'm not worried about that. I'm just worried about trying to find an actual captain willing to travel thus far.
I'm sure there'll be one. The Bretonians have the sea's water in their veins. Oh, and I'm willing to offer 10,000 gold pieces for those veins.
Oh, now that's a little bit more of an incentive. Like, let me get in contact with you in the morning, eh?
Yeah, goodly chap. Until then, enjoy the olives. And the random strangers I've hired from the city to pad out a party.
Oh, that's why I thought I had smelt homelessness. Oh.
Yeah, I really need to be careful which randomers I hire.
He turns and points one out and he goes, "That is a hound guard. I know him."
All right, yeah.
Wow. Anyway, I'll get back to you in the morning, I guess.
Thank you. Chester will stand up on a chair. Party's over. Fuck off now.
Immediately, all of the extras kind of like drop their glasses and put their food down and just leave.
Just leaves Macra drunk in the room with Chester.
No, and Gwandia in the corner.
Oh yeah. Who are you?
Hi. I'm a normal person of the party. Goodbye. And he just walks off towards the entrance.
Right, good. Fuck off.
You just see Canaris and Owen just chuckle in a corner.
Yeah.
And then you see him, Owen, you see him turn around and he does this. As he
I
leaves.
see you later, random stranger.
Yes, goodbye. Normal person. That is not my son. I'll see you later.
Just watches him go like, it's like, sometimes I outdo myself.
Leaving the party empty then, I guess.
Elsef returns eventually
Yes.
and just knocks on the door repeatedly till someone opens.
My butler, I assume that I hired, will, just for one night. He's like a butler for hire.
Yeah,
Like an
he's
Uber, but a
soaked.
butler.
And he's
Yeah,
soaked.
and Elsef just throws the wet umbrella at him and enters again.
He catches it. Welcome back, madame.
Ah, Elzef, you've returned.
Master Decker, why do we not simply construct a ship?
Yeah, well, you see, I've got rather distasteful memories of getting a nice ship and crewing it with people that I cared about, and then slowly watching them all die or run away.
But you could hire a crew that you don't know.
Will they be faceless, and will I be captain?
You could be captain.
How much would this little endeavor cost, and how long?
I've calculated it by the Xanathos crafting rules. And with 10 carpenters, or 9 carpenters assisting Elsef, 20 weeks. And we can cut that in half by hiring 20 carpenters, so it would be 10 weeks.
And how much will that cost me? Plus a crew, of course.
10,000. To construct a sailing ship.
Deep sea capabilities?
I think a sailing ship can deep sea sail.
How many cannons?
I wouldn't have that many cannons, Master Decker. It's a sailing ship. Oh, let me check how many cannons a sailing ship has. It doesn't say. I can't find it.
Very well, but I want you to push them through, and let's do it in 8 weeks.
You want me to construct a ship in 8 weeks, Master Decker?
Yes, 20 carpenters, work them to the bone.
Well, the crafting rules assume you have proficiency in the tool. Elsef has expertise in carpenters and carving tools. And we have a massive workshop that is filled with doors.
Yeah, okay, so I'd say with the expertise and if you...
And Elsef's newfound contracts in the guild, which she absolutely has disdain for.
Yeah. I mean, with Salam Bakin's contacts, yeah, you could even find the right materials quicker as well.
Well, I forgot to tell the good captain we would no longer need his services. But yes, here you go. And I'll hand Gwendef 10,000 gold pieces and front Laniros' share as well.
It's funny that you hand it to to Gwendef, but sure, Elsef takes
Yeah, he's doing that. Hand it to Gwendef through the ether, and then hand it to, obviously, Elzef.
And Elsef just looks at the wet butler and points at the crates of gold, apparently, that Macra brought.
Are the others still in the room, or have they gone?
So, just before you do all this, and Laris is kind of deep in wine by now.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Owen are going to go with Anna in the morning to... Well, I'm at least going to do some research. I don't know about you. And he winks at Owen, who probably has some idea of what it means after an hour.
Yeah.
It's I'm going to do some research and see if I can't get us there a lot faster. I believe Anna's going to try and do the same.
I am, yes.
Oh,
Anna, you're still here.
The idea of what we're going for, we just want to get there quickly, because I thought the journey was part of it.
well, no. We usually take a boat places.
Right.
So here's the idea. I get what you're saying, Owen. You want to have some fun on the ship. That's all good.
No.
It's an
I
expensive...
thought that was part of what we were being hired for, with go on a ship and stuff. But if that's not the case, then we could just
without looking at Elzeth, he just takes the sack back out of her outstretched hand and goes and sits down with these guys.
Yeah, Elspeth just takes out blueprints out of the code and just strips them, and is like, and then takes the word umbrella again and just leaves again.
As past Macra, bang on the table again. Macra, wake up. Yes, do you actually explain?
Well, I did.
So we're going to get there faster.
Well, I was going to explain to Owen first, if you don't mind. Manners, Mr. Decker.
Oh, right, very well. Yes.
That, I get it. You're part of. You want to get out there and you want to have this experience of going onto a ship and having an adventure. But that's a really high price to pay 10,000 gold pieces just to have an adventure on a ship. I mean.
Oh yeah, no, I understand that. I don't mind at all. I just thought that was what we were doing, so I just go along with it, you know.
I see. Well, it is what we could be doing if everyone intends to pay a hefty sum and spend an extended period being hit by sea spray. Personally, I prefer traveling in an expedited fashion, if at all possible. I will do some research on Stormfrost Rock, and we can always go with the boat. It's going to take a long time to create anyway. So, once Elseth makes some new blueprints, she could pursue that route. But I would suggest giving it a few days and allowing us to investigate before actually signing up any contractors.
Right? Count me
So
in.
we're not going by a boat.
And I'll just look at Macra and see the stage and then just blank him.
I think Alwyn just kind of Macross sitting there with his glass. He just kind of pushes his drink back up towards his face.
If Chester looks at the ripped off blueprints and had a wonderfully intricate statue of Chester at the helm, holding his quill.
With his naughty little finger secret.
It is a replicate of the statue that stands as a figurehead of the boat.
It could be, it could be amazing.
We should probably get started on the research then.
Well, how about this? You see, haste is an important part of this venture, and considering I am the one who's fronting up the end of the desires and whatnot, and various pieces of diplomatic diplomacy, how about we have a little race to the finish? How about good Elzeth designs this ship, and if it will be ready before your endeavour, we shall take that route. If not, we shall take the other route. What say you?
Very well.
What, you want to bet on a race or something? Because I feel like you got piss poor management of money if that's the case.
Oh, well, yes. Well, we wouldn't obviously start to construct the ship until we knew exactly how long it was going to take.
Right, shall we?
Yeah. Let's go.
Alright, so that's the plan.
Yeah, if Chester proposes that, Elsif is going to flat out reject it because she already gets that they just want to teleport there. She's like, I'm not wasting my time doing this, and she just starts constructing Macra's sword finally instead.
Alright. Alright.
You're welcome, Macra.
He hands you back the 2+2 longsword and is just like, can you just make this longer?
Oh yeah, if I use that as an ingredient, it would take Elsif, I think, 2 weeks to make a +1 bastard sword. If I use the +2 longsword, can I just knock it out in a week?
Sure. What are you trying to make anyway?
Just a +2 bastard sword, I think. Anything else would take too long if we're just going to teleport.
Yeah, if you want to sacrifice the +2 longsword, yeah, sure.
Get in.
You can add a +2.
I hope it's just a little bit of blade sellotape to the end of it.
it's nicely made.
Cut in the middle and then, just 2 patches of duct tape.
It's a boring sword because Elsif has no creativity right now, but it's nicely made and it has a signature on it.
Okay, so before we conclude this part of the session and evening, I'm going to move on to something else before we end. We're going to go somewhere very northward of the city, deep in the desert. Deep in the desert of Mokhul, there is a cave, and in that cave is a child, scared and alone. And she huddles in the far corner of it as night descends upon the desert. She doesn't know how she had got here. She doesn't know how she'd been abandoned by her father. But as she pulls her knees up to her face. She rocks back and forward, and she hears the voice in the back of her head telling her to drive forward, to kill, to consume. The soul inside her that had buried itself in deep is nothing but evil and voices in the back of her head. But it begins to go quiet later that night. She wakes to the sound of something rumbling in the distance. And she had stayed in this cave for some time now, hiding away from the outside, not seeing a single soul. Until there is a figure, backlit by moonlit in the cave entrance. The figure is hooded and steps into the cave. And as she steps into the cave, she pulls back her hood, revealing matronly features, motherly, kindly features, short red hair, pointed ears, almost a pixie haircut. And there's something about her eyes, she realises. There's colour in them, a rainbow of colour. And she hands her hand out, she says, "There's no need to be afraid, child. Not anymore. Come with me, and I'll show you the world." And the kid stands up, confused, and she steps forward. "Who are you?" "I'm your saviour. I'm the one who's going to deliver you from this. Come with me." And Hadar steps forward and places one hand in this elf's hand. But then the elf leaps forward. One hand comes up, grabs Hadar by the side of her temple. The other slams into the other side of the temple, and she hurls her with great force in a wide arc and slams her down into the ground. And as her eyes stare into Hadar's inky black eyes, she opens her mouth and she pushes her hands against the temples. And without apology, she drains the void soul straight from Hadar, ripping it free. The tentacles flail to the side of the walls, begin grabbing onto anything. They don't want to leave. They don't want to get out of this body that they've recently corrupted. Whatever they're going to, they're afraid. And this elf pushes down to the point when Hadar screams, her arm bent back as she tries to grab her like anything to get away from this. And then her arms drop down, limp, unbreathing. The elf stands up, cracks her neck, places her hood up, and there's a new colour in her eye, added to the colours that are around her pupils. There's a blackness now, and inside the void soul screams, trapped within a pod of its own magic. And we'll end the session there.
Sure.
Bye.
There's reason to be afraid.
Player 10 has entered the game.
Does Elsif get back her half of the soul?
No, you do not.
She sucked that up too.
We'll end the session there. We'll be back next week, of course, to continue on with the mystical adventures of Chester, heading towards Doom, obviously.
Would have been quite cruel to get back the soul just to have half a town of dead people